Hello and welcome to Craft with Sarah. In this video, I'm showing you how to make the latest addition to my layered truck collection, and this time it is graduation themed. So whether you're wishing yourself a big congratulations for getting a degree, a diploma, or anything in between, or you're making this for somebody else as a congratulations for them, I know you're going to love it. Let's get started. You can download the free cutting file for this project at craftwithsarah.com/free-svgs or follow the link in the description of this video to go straight to the download page. The download comes in a zip folder and you need to unzip this before you can upload the files into Cricut Design Space. Once you've downloaded and unzipped the folder, it's time to get the SVG file into Cricut Design Space. Open up Design Space and start a new project, then get into Upload over on the left and then Upload Image. You can then either click Browse to find the file on your computer or you can drag and drop it in. Make sure you choose the unzipped version of the folder and then the file to select is the one which starts SVG in the file name. Click and drag it in and it should look like this with all the pieces one on top of the other. If yours looks different and you can see all the bits next to each other instead, that means you've accidentally uploaded the wrong file type. So if that's the case, press cancel down here on the bottom right and try again and make sure you choose the one which starts SVG. But this is looking good, so I'm going to go ahead and upload. And then it will appear in your recent uploads. So you can click it to get the green border and then press add to canvas. And here it is. Now, Design Space changed recently so that all the layers appear collapsed by default. You can open them up to see the pieces by clicking the little arrow next to the truck on the Layers panel, and there they all are in there. You might want to resize it to better match your card or shadow box or frame or wherever it is that you're going to be putting this. To do that, make sure the padlock icon above the width and height boxes is closed. If yours is open, you can click on it to close it. And that means you can type either the width or the height and then press enter on your keyboard and the other dimension will change to match. You could also recolor it if you want to. For example, maybe you didn't want a blue truck. We could recolor this. Let's look down the bottom of the layers panel until we find the very first blue layer, which is this lighter colored one. And I'll go for a green truck, just so it's really different to anything that's on the screen. Choose a palish green, and then the next layer up is the darker blue, and I can choose a darker green. You can then change all the other blues in one go by clicking Color Sync at the top of the Layers panel, and then we can close these up so we can see better. You can drag all the dark blue onto your new dark color, and you see it changed. And the same with the light blue. Drag that onto your new lighter colour and everything goes in one go. And then if you wanted to, you could change the balloons too. So maybe I could stick with the green theme for all of this. Keep going with lots of green. Just check how that is looking. And then maybe I want to change the hubcaps to a grey. You can just go through then and do whatever else you want to change until it's looking exactly as you want it. However, I'm going to do mine as it loaded. So I'll delete that one, bring it back in those original colours and change it back to 9.5 inches. And then when you're ready to cut it out, press Make on the top of the screen. And that will separate out all the different colours. You can change the paper size in this drop down here. I like to go for A4. And then you can move things about by clicking and dragging to use up less space on your paper. And you can even move things to a different sheet. So it thinks at the minute I'm going to need 2 sheets of white. But if I click these 3 little dots, move object, choose my other white and confirm, I reckon I can fit this on. There we go, perfect. In fact, I might even put it all the way up there. So Design Space thought I needed 2, but I'm only going to need 1 sheet of white. And don't worry that there is still an empty one, that will disappear once you click continue. You will need to make those changes for every single colour, so go ahead and get those looking exactly as you want, then continue, connect to your Cricut and get everything cut out from cardstock. Here are all the layers of my truck cut out, and I've placed them one on top of the other in the correct order to check that I'm happy with all the colours and that I haven't accidentally forgotten anything along the way. I'm going to stick this together with a combination of glue and foam squares. The glue I'm using is Bearly Art Glue, which I like because it doesn't bend or wrinkle the cardstock. You can also use Kalal Glue, which is more easily available in the UK, but you can get the Bearly Art Glue even in the UK if you have a little look on Amazon. And these are the foam squares that I'm using. These ones are quite small, which means it's going to be nice and easy to get the foam into the smaller areas of the design. But if you've got bigger ones, that's absolutely fine too. You can just cut them smaller if you need to with a pair of scissors. As with all my layered designs, we need to start at the bottom and work upwards. So I'm going to move these pieces apart so that we can start at the bottom. I'm trying to keep them vaguely together in little sections, just so I don't need to worry about finding all the pieces and putting them in order again. Okay, so we've got our very bottom layer, which is the white one, and then the black to go on top. This will be a foam square layer, so I've turned it upside down, and now I can add my foam squares. You want to make sure that you put some in any little sticky out places, like the ends of the diploma ribbon in there. And as well as putting some around the edge, like I'm doing now, I'll also put some in the middle of the larger sections. And that's because if there was nothing in these big sections, then there's nothing to hold the cards stable. So you might find that it bends downwards a little bit if there's nothing to keep it stable. And we want to avoid that because it means it won't be as effective at looking 3D. So that's why I'm putting quite a lot of these foam squares on. Now I've added all my foam, I can peel the tops off to reveal the stickiness underneath. Now those are all nice and sticky, let's turn it over. I'm going to line it up against the white layer and then gently drop it down. Using the top of the hat to try and know where to line it up because it doesn't quite go all the way to the bottom. The reason for gently dropping it is that if you weren't happy with that positioning, you could pick it up and move it because it hasn't actually stuck properly yet. But that looks good to me, so I'm going to push down to seal. You'll notice here my ribbon's missing a little bit on the black. That was totally my fault when cutting it out, so don't worry if yours looks a little bit different in this area. Next we'll do the balloons, and both of these are foam square layers, starting with the red. This one goes on first. Oh, didn't do a very good job there. Let's try that again. There. And then I'll also add some foam squares to the back of the blue one. Here we go, just 3 little ones on there. And then stick that one on top. Lovely. Next we've got this big blue piece, which will be, let's have a think. I think we will foam this one, but you could glue it. This one, it doesn't really matter either way. Let's move that out of the way a little bit so you can see. Then this will get lined up again, and then gently drop down when you're happy and push down to seal. Now we've got the front of the truck, which will be a glue layer. Now we can start building up the back of the truck, and all of these are going to be glue pieces. So we'll start with the little back of the ribbon. The reason I'm gluing these is that I don't want the back to end up being too much taller than the front. So if I was to use foam squares on any of these, the back would be a lot taller, and I just prefer it when it looks quite even. The next one is the solid layer of the diploma. Then the outline of the diploma. Then the little ribbon that goes along the middle. This is quite a small piece, so be careful with it. And then finally, the outside of the truck. We'll go for the tassel first. Glue that on. And then I'm going to glue on the first of the hat pieces, the biggest piece. There we go. And then so we've got a little bit of depth with the remaining pieces. Let's use some foam square for the smaller hat piece. It can be lined up along there. And then the bit to go along the bottom, add some glue. Make sure you're doing it the right way around, because it looks like it might be symmetrical, but actually it's not. So just make sure you've got it right before you add that glue. There. We're very nearly done now. So next we're going to take these solid, lighter coloured pieces. These are different sizes for the front and the back of the truck. So again, just make sure you've got them the right way round before you stick them down. There's that one. Then the other one for the other side. That goes on there. And then we've got the darker pieces with the little cutouts. These will be glued on top. And the same for the one on the back. There. And then last but not least, we've got our two little hubcaps. I'm going to cheat and just put my foam square directly onto those tyres. And then stick these on. And there we go. That's my graduation truck, all finished. I pick him up. See all of the lovely layers in there, and he's looking wonderful. And if you like this truck, check out my website at craftwithsarah.com, because there are loads of other matching trucks for all different kinds of occasion. There are several different Christmas and winter designs. It's Halloween, Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, new baby, there is a summer truck, a flower truck, 4th of July, Canada Day, New Year's Eve. It just keeps going on and on and on. There are so many different ones to choose from, and they make a lovely collection if you make them all for all the different occasions. But for now, I hope you've enjoyed making this graduation project with me. If you have, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel for loads more free SVGs and Cricut craft projects. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!